Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome. So today, last video on Wednesday, we spoke about the bag trends of the season and the, I guess, most affordable or like just some affordable options that I found. I put together a list and, and gave that to you guys. So I also said that the next time I would be back for another video would be Friday, which is today, and I would be going over the same exact topic, but with vintage bags, which is honestly way more exciting to me. Yeah, you know how I feel about vintage bags if you've been here before. But let me introduce myself first, and then we'll get into it. J'arrive, regarde Jojo, je suis à l'aise. My name is Bram. If you are new here, I talk about all things fashion, luxury, lifestyle, shopping, and I always say travel, although we haven't really done travel yet, but I'm going to continue to say it until it's true. So that's what we'll do. So I talk about all of those things. If those things are interesting to you, I would love it if you would hit subscribe, become a member of my growing YouTube family, and let's go. All right, so first and foremost, I put together this list quite a few days ago. So again, I'll link the other video below, but in the last video, we went over all of like the big bag trends of this like fall winter season. And I gave you my suggestions on affordable options or relatively affordable, more like high street as well as like mid-range. So that if you are interested in any of those things, you had some options in terms of like better pricing, etc. Now, today, I am going to be doing the same exact topic with the same exact trends, exactly pretty much in the same order, but however, they're going to be designer vintage. This is the stuff that I love. This is stuff that I love to talk about. And so I think the list that I put together is bulkier for sure than the one that we talked about on Wednesday. So hopefully this video won't be too much longer. I will try to edit it down. I can go on and on sometimes, but I am going to get right to it now so that there's not a long ass introduction. So let's go. The first trend I wanted to discuss is fringe. Fringe / boho. I didn't keep to an exact price point. All of it is pretty much under $2,500. But the majority is under $1,500 or $1,000. So there is prices in here for everybody, and there's definitely some options. I love a good deal, and so I'm assuming that a lot of you love a good deal as well. Fringe / boho. So my top pick for this specific trend would be the Fendi Fringe Baguette. I love it. I'm going to link what I can find will be linked below. I'm loving this. I actually was following one on Poshmark not too long ago with like rainbow fringe, which was like super cool. And the only reason I didn't get it was because I have the fringe, the Louis Vuitton Murakami fringe speedy. And I was like, how much rainbow fringe do I actually need like in my collection? Probably not a lot, but I do love it in the solid colors. I think that they're obviously more versatile. But every time I see this bag, I see it with like a very long strap. So I'm not 100% sure. I think this bag was meant to be a messenger, maybe. I don't know, but it even looks longer than a messenger. Although I don't know exactly what year this bag is from, but I do know that like back in the day, we did like a longer messenger. I think now you see like when people crossbody their bags, it is because it's not just messengers being crossbodied anymore. It's just any bag. Most people like it to sit a little bit higher. I know for me, I like it to sit like maybe right above my hip. So I'm not really 100% sure if this, if there's interchangeable straps or not. My suggestion, of course, would be go on Amazon, get yourself a strap, or maybe even take the long strap if you're not into it. Or if you are into it, actually, the strap looks long enough that you could probably take it to a cobbler and have them remove a portion so that you can actually make two straps out of it, and that it would hit you in a place that is actually like more in line with what we're liking at the moment, I guess. So that is personally what I would do if I was going to grab one of these bags, which I might. I love them. You can find them, I would say $1,500 or less for sure. give or take. The one that I was watching on Poshmark was like 800, 700. The ones that I'm seeing now, like, you know, how everything obviously fringes in, the price is going to go up. I think that it's been rising lately. It'll probably go back down after the season, maybe. I don't know, but it's something to just keep your eyes on. I think it's beautiful. I think it is like a fun classic to a certain extent. It's a giant baguette, which I love actually. It's like the XL or whatever it's called, but it's freaking huge. And I think it's just really, really good. The next one, this actually, I might take back the fact that I think that the Fendi is the best. I actually might think that the PS1 Fringe bag might be the best. Super affordable. I love a PS1. I like the fun ones. I don't want to say I'm not a fan of the regular ones because that's not true. I've had actually quite a few since they first came out. I had a black on black one, actually, like a so black one back in the day. And then I had a neon yellow one, which I absolutely love. And I probably sold it in like 2017 or something like that, which I wish that I hadn't because such a good color, harder to find now in good condition, but so good. And I really love the PS1. I think it gives the same vibes more or less as the Balenciaga bag, like when you wear it open. But it can also be super versatile because you can wear it like buttoned up, and then it looks like a little like a schoolgirl bag or a schoolboy bag or whatever, like a European school bag. But I do think it kind of gives off that sort of like rock and roll, but like sort of like that, like I don't care, like I'm wearing my bag wide open type of thing, like I'm too cool to close it. Like there's something that it gives off is super cool, and I love the different variations in it. My favorite is this one at the moment. It is the Fringe version. It is so freaking good. I definitely have my sights set on grabbing one. I don't know what color it's going to be. I've seen quite a few colors pop up. I've seen green, which is incredible. I have seen red, which is also incredible. Suede, which actually ticks the box of Fringe and Suede. And I've also seen it in like a tan. You can grab this bag for anywhere between like 250 and like 600 bucks, maybe higher, but like you can definitely find a really good one between like 250, 300 and like 600 on the high end. So that would be my pick, maybe even my pick of like this whole list, but I'm definitely going to add one at some point. I don't know how much Fringe I need in my life, but I don't feel fulfilled in the Fringe realm yet. The last one in this category would be the Gucci Indy. I mentioned this bag actually recently with you guys not too long ago, maybe a few months ago. We were going over some vintage stuff that I was into. Gucci Indy bag, 100%. I think it's coming back because the 2010s are coming back, like, and fast. You can still get it at a great price. It is creeping up. So I would say grab it if you find one at a good price. You can grab them in the range of like 500 to 1,000. A lot of them land in like the $700 range. The Real constantly has good ones. Finding it in good condition is actually, it's pretty easy because I feel like this is not a bag that a lot of people bought and like beat up, you know what I mean? But it is so good. It is right in line with not only the Fringe boho chic trend, but also with the 2010s, which again, I think are coming back fast. And if you want to get involved and you're going to want to grab some of these things, this is a good one to grab. It is very specific to that time period, and I just think it's such a good bag. I always loved it. Make sure that you grab it with the extra strap so that you can use it not only with the hard strap on your shoulder, but as a crossbody or a long shoulder as well. It's just so versatile. I love it. I personally like the medium or the large version. The small version I think is pretty small and kind of like cumbersome to get in. I just don't think it is as like wearable as the larger sizes. But I've tried this bag on many times. It is very, very comfortable on the shoulder. Next one would be Suede. So of course I already mentioned the PS1, which would check, you know, both the Fringe and the Suede trends. And the one that I love is the Balenciaga City in the Suede version. I think it is so good. You can grab it still for around $1,000. The city bag has been creeping up, but I feel like people are, because there's not as many suedes out there, and of course, suede is harder to take care of and all of that stuff. And if you're looking for like an everyday bag, people might not gravitate towards the suede. You can still find them for really good prices. I think they're absolutely stunning. I think that the city bag in the suede version is like super luxe and beautiful, and just it's like an extra level of coolness. Sorry if the lighting keeps changing. The sun is like going in and out between the clouds. So it just got like super dark in here. Next one is fur. So for the fur, I tried to choose two things that I thought were pretty good in terms of price. So number one would be, and I don't know if I'm even saying this right, the Chanel orylag bag. I don't know. I'll pop it up here. I found this one for $1,000. Absolutely stunning. I mean, yeah. And then the next, I don't like, there's nothing left to really say about it. The Chanel Fantasy Fur CC flat bag. This one is $2,500. So this one is on the higher price point that we're discussing today. It's stunning. I already mentioned in the last video how I feel about fur. I also talked about it in like the shoe portion of this video. It's an ongoing topic, I feel like, for the last few weeks. But I'm always concerned with fur. I probably would not purchase another fur. You know, never say never with me, but I would probably not purchase another fur, designer bag, just because they don't really wear very well. You know how I feel about it collecting like smell, etc. Hard to clean, all of that stuff. The only caveat here, the only bag that I would actually add that is a vintage fur bag would probably be the Louis Vuitton. I do have a fur bag. I'm going to tell you about it. Okay, sorry. I don't always know what I'm going to say. I have my notes, but this is all off the top of my head. You know what I mean? I would add the fur Murakami multicolor. It's like mink, I believe. The old vintage version was mink with like a silver python. I'm gonna put up a picture. You guys, I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That's the only one that if I had the funds for it, if it showed up at a good time, at a good price, I might indulge. I do not have any straight up fur bags. I do have shearling bags, which I think are a little bit different. I have one shearling bag, which is I love a good bum bag. I love a good belt bag. So it is the LV bum bag in the shearling, which I do have. But I don't want to mix the shearling and the fur, although it is sort of like it's in the same category. It's under the same umbrella kind of, but the trend that we're talking about that is like super in right now is fur. It's not so much shearling. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, moving on. Next one is a slouchy bag. Okay. So my favorite, I have two for you guys. My favorite slouchy bag that has been on my mind recently is the new Jacky bag. So this one came out, I want to say in the 2010 kind of area, something like that. I love them in all the colors. They're great. I had two. I had a Guccissima print, which was just like the Guccissima, I believe is correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I believe it was when they imprinted the Gucci into the leather, like debossed, I think. So that one, I had it in like a beautiful brown color in like the canvas, I believe. Anyway, I don't know where either one of those are. I'm sure that I sold one. I think I actually gave one of them away, but that's neither here nor there. I do plan to get my hands on another one of these. I would love a beautiful color. I saw one on somebody that I follow that has like amazing taste on Instagram. I believe she had like a turquoise color one. Stunning. I would love to add something like that, or like a green or like a red, just no GGs, just all one color. Really, really beautiful. It's beautiful. It also actually kind of, Also kind of checks the box of the Fringe boho bag because it is very boho-esque. It also has that little tassel hanging from it a lot of the times. Anyway, it's an absolutely fabulous bag. I love it. It holds everything. The large version would even hold like a laptop, all of that stuff. Perfect for work and so on trend and so stylish. Like it's on trend, yes, but it's a classic. It's a Jacky bag, right? So anyway, new Jacky, 100%. You can find them for between $400 and $1,000. I will link one or two below. Absolutely stunning. Next one in this category is the Gucci Horsebit Bag Hobo. I think that's what we called it. I don't really remember. It's the one that you will remember if you were around in the early 2000s and looking at bags or looking at like In Touch and Us Weekly or whatever. Jessica Simpson wore it like every single day. I like the huge one. It comes in two sizes. There's the huge one and there is the smaller one. I guess what they call it. I think they called it like a medium. I don't know, but the huge one was the one. And that's the one that I'm talking about. I would also love to add this one. It has crept up over the last few years, I would say. You can definitely find it between $500 and $1,000, but it has definitely like crept up because a few years ago you could have found one for like 200 easily, no problem. I love it. The leather versions are stunning. This bag I do like in the Gucci print though, I have to say. I don't know. There's something about that bag that is so reminiscent of that time in that beautiful Gucci canvas. But yeah, the leathers were also beautiful. So whether you like the logos or not, you know, there's options. There's options. Lots of options. We love good option. Next is East West. So for the East West, the bag that I'm going to show you, I actually own it, although I forgot to bring it into the office today so that I could show it to you. The first one is the Chanel nylon travel bag. So in the East West version, this bag is absolutely stunning. You can get it for super cheap. You can still find it for between $300 and $600. So it is actually still about what it costs to begin with. So you're really not, there's not like a big increase in price on this bag. This one specifically, I have it in the beige color, but it comes in a bunch of different colors. It comes in red, it comes in brown. I think the brown is really cool personally. I just purchased myself the cream color because it was the one that I originally bought. It was like my first Chanel bag. So it was the nostalgia that got me on that one. But it is totally in line with this East-West trend. It is like exceptionally elongated, very extreme East-West shape and at not a crazy price. So I really believe that it's one of these things where East-West goes in and out of style. East-West specifically, like the exaggerated East-West, goes in and out of style. Obviously, a lot of bags are kind of in that East-West shape. The baguette is in the East. Like there's so many bags that are technically East-West, but the actual trend, I think, is focused more on the like elongated, extreme version of the East-West. And this one checks those boxes, but at a really great price. Plus, it is the Chanel travel line. And I feel like at this point, it's sort of a classic. So even when this shape is kind of out, it's not really ever going to be out. This bag specifically is really not going to ever be out because it is a piece of Chanel history. Next one would be, it actually, again, it kind of scratches, like it ticks the box of two different trends, which I didn't even mention the second trend, but I will mention it anyway. But it's East-West and it was also barrel shaped. Now we've seen a lot of barrel shaped bags recently. They have been on the map for a little while. But I love a barrel shaped bag. It's like super cute. And I really am liking the vernis version from Louis Vuitton. I mean, Louis Vuitton has the papillion shaped bag. Like there's a million different iterations of it. So you can find it in many different forms, whether it's like the cherry blossom, the original cherry blossom collection, whether it's in epi. They're all called like a little something different, but there's a version in epi that's a little bit different. It's not the same exact structure, but the vernis, the damier abine, the regular monogram, like there's a million of them that come in that like papillon shape. And I just think it's such a good shape. Again, it is a trend, But again, it is something that is classic at this point, and especially if you buy it in a vintage version, is really not going to go out of style. I think that they're stunning. They check both boxes, and I just think that they're super cool. I have definitely have a papillon on my list in a cool vernis color, I think, when one pops up at some point at a good price. You can find it for anywhere between $500 and $1,500. Vernis tends to be a little bit cheaper just because patent leather doesn't always hold its value the same way. And in the lighter colors, it doesn't always, like, I guess, hold up the same way. And then the monogram versions that are, I wouldn't even say 1,500. I think that's even a little bit like a lot. But like if you're looking on Fashion File or something, a lot of the monogram or the damier bean versions are in like the, I would say, $1,000 to like $1,200 range, give or take. But you can definitely find the vernis versions for cheaper. I would say even like $400 or $500, $600. They're creeping up. They're creeping up because I have seen quite a few that were really great condition, like over the last year, that were like in the $300 or $400 range, but they've been slowly creeping. They've been slowly creeping up. I should have pulled the trigger. I should have pulled the trigger a while ago, but it doesn't matter. They're still out there. You can definitely grab one. They are still a reasonable price. And again, classic, beautiful, all that stuff. Next one is the cargo. So I talked in the last video about how much I love cargo bags. I love a casual bag, period. I love a bag I can wear with sweatpants, that I can wear with, I told you this, guys, leggings, that I can wear with even like dressed up. And I think a cargo bag kind of like adds a bit of coolness to any outfit that you're wearing. So like even if your outfit's a little more buttoned up, by adding a cargo bag, just that, like, I feel like sometimes I feel like certain words are just played out. I hate that feeling. Lately, I've been feeling that there are certain things that we say, and I guess it's just because the internet and, we're constantly talking to each other on here, and we have such like a much wider net that you just hear things over and over and over again. And I'm starting to really hate the word juxtaposition. However, I don't know what else to call it. So I love the juxtaposition of a cargo bag with a more dressed up look. It kind of adds a bit of cool girl to or cool guy, whatever, to a dressed up look, because it's such a casual bag. And I always love kind of like that military army type of flair, no matter what. So the cargo bag, one main one, honestly, it would be the Dior City bag, the Columbus bag. Again, another one that I should have brought with me, but I didn't. I love this bag. Again, if you've been watching me, I unboxed one, or unbagged one, I guess. Not too long ago. I found it for a great deal at like a local consignment store near me. I love this bag. I got it with all the little pouches. The prices range really mainly depending on the amount of pouches that you can find it with. Some of them come with none. Those are usually cheaper. Some of them come with all of them. Those are usually more expensive. You can also purchase the pouches like separately if you find them on the secondhand market in the right color, etc. It comes in leather. It comes in regular canvas monogram. There's also different versions in this city bag line. There was the tote bag, which you could also put, like, there was also removable pouches that stuck onto the tote bag. There's a bunch of options in this like street chic line that Dior did many, many years ago. But the Dior City, specifically the Columbus bag, you can find it for about $1,000, I would say, to $2,500, give or take, again, depending on the amount of pouches and the, the condition that it's in, et cetera, et cetera. Another bag that kind of falls into the cargo category, but maybe not exactly, would be the Dior Gaucho bag. This bag kind of like is also in the boho chic trend. I think it's kind of like a crossover as well. I think it ticks both of the boxes. The Gaucho, if you guys remember, it's this one. It came in a bunch of different colors. It came in like a handheld version as well as a shoulder version. I think I had the handheld, if I'm not mistaken. I might have had actually two. I might have. I am definitely looking for one. I have been waiting for this bag to kind of come back around. I love the fact that it has like it had like a little coin hanging off of it. And I think there was a key as well. I'm doing this from memory because I don't have the pictures in front of me because I'm filming on my phone. But I believe it had a coin and a key, if I'm not mistaken. And it just so like the charms are kind of like very boho-esque. And then the way that it was situated with like the pockets on the front and stuff was definitely kind of a little bit in line with like a cargo bag. So it's sort of like a fusion of the two. I think it's actually a great, I think it's honestly a great bag. I loved it when I had it. I wore it to death. I believe if I'm not mistaken, I had like the bone colored one, and I think I just literally wore it so much that I destroyed it and then sold it. I am looking for it again. I think that it is again another one that at this point is an absolute classic and beautiful and goes with a lot. And that you can find for between $1,000 and $2,000, which is very, very expensive compared to what they were like 2 or 3 years ago. You could find this bag for literally a few $100s a few years ago, and not so much anymore. It's definitely creeping up. I don't know if it'll come back down. Next one is animal print. So there's quite a few on this list. First of all, I wanted to give like a pretty decently priced one. I would say that the Dolce & Gabbana fur bag here is $6.95. I don't know where else it is. I will link it below, but I thought it was a pretty cool option at a really good price if you want like a leopard print fur bag. And it also obviously checks the box of the fur as well. Next would be the Louis Vuitton Stephen Sprouse Chenille Speedy in the leopard. I love this bag. I remember when it came out, I never had it. I think it's absolutely stunning. I think Louis Vuitton, when they do leopard, they do it really well. There's been quite a few different lines that have come out over the years, different collections that have come out over the years that were like animal print. I really love the Marc Jacobs era animal print. You can find it for a relatively decent price, around $1,000 still. It's a speedy. It is classic. It is leopard. Leopard, in my opinion, is classic. If that's your thing, if that's like, if you love leopard, then leopard is definitely classic. And then the last one in this leopard category would be the Louis Vuitton Steven bag in the leopard version, in the pony hair version. This one is super, first of all, I had this one when it first came out. I loved this bag. It was my favorite bag. Leopard was super in, like in the late 2000s. I want to say like 09, 08, in that range. I had it. I wore it probably almost every day to work, to the point where the pony hair actually like started to come off. What you will see with a lot of these on the secondhand market is that there's like balding and stuff like that. So it is a hard one to find in good condition at a good price. But it's not hard to find at a good price. It's just a matter of what you're willing to put up with in terms of the condition. My strap broke. I used to load up this bag. I used to wear it everywhere. I loved it that much. And it comes with this absolutely stunning, a lot of them don't come with it actually, but originally it came with this absolutely stunning, almost like a tortoiseshell strap, and mine broke. And I am not sure why I never went back to the store to get it fixed. I don't know. I don't think that I had an actual essay at the time, and it was just like, I don't know. And at some point I sold it, probably at a loss, because that bag, I don't remember how much it actually cost in the store, but it was stunning and beautiful. And by the time I was done with it, it was a shell of its former self. But I would love to grab another one in decent condition. It's huge. It is a very 2010s style bag. It's like wide and long. It's kind of like that speedy shape, but like extra large. Like I don't know. It's a specific shape that these Steven bags came in that are very, very 2010s in style. But it's such a good bag. And that chain specifically, like I would not buy it without the chain. It has to have that chain with it for it to make sense. That one you can find for anywhere between $600 and $1,200, give or take, but it is possible. It's just a matter of what condition, again, you are willing to accept on it, Next one, and I guess this is the last one, is croc or exotic print, exotic bags in general. It's mock croc like we talked about in the last video, or like actual croc, I don't really know. Let's just talk about exotics in general, because specifically croc and lizard, etc., snake are harder. They're not very hard wearing. You really need to be delicate. You need to make sure you store them correctly. You need to make sure, I know, for example, that real croc, when it has the shiny effect, like when it looks like patent, I know that it can become dull. And I know that the dull version of crocodile can also become shiny. So I know that there's problems with both. You have to be very careful. They're not hard wearing. But an exotic that is hard wearing is ostrich. And going back to the new Jacky, because I absolutely love that bag, there is an ostrich version that is probably extremely hard wearing. It would tick the box of an exotic if that is something that you are looking for. I personally, I like exotics. I don't have any exotics, but for me, if I was to purchase an exotic, now, if I was if I was being offered an exotic at Hermes at retail price, that would be one that the only one that I would probably grab at, like, as a new item. Other than that, and only probably because I hope Hermes is not watching, but you know, that the resale on that is very nice. However, if I was to just purchase a regular exotic bag in general, 100% it would either be mock, just to get the design, right? Or it would be vintage. And if that's the case, new Jacky in the ostrich print is absolutely stunning. This one you can find between $1,000 and $1,200, and it looks like it's real ostrich. So that's a pretty good deal, considering that the other Gucci, what did I say it was? Let me check. The new Gucci's in the regular leather or the monogram canvas are between $400 and $1,000. So for an ostrich bag, I mean, obviously this was a one-off that I found because we're talking vintage. It's not like a set price, but they are out there and you can find them at a great price. I also know that the new Jacky bags come in really beautiful snake prints as well. And then also in the exotic realm, this specific gold Tom Ford era touch in lizard. Oh my God. I'm going to link it below if it's still available. I just had to mention it. It's $2,500. So on the higher end of our price scale for this video. But how beautiful is that? The fact that you can get these beautiful exotic Tom Ford era bags still at less than retail. I mean, think about how much this thing would cost in the store nowadays. Ridiculous. So even $2,500 is totally worth it, in my opinion, if you have the money and are willing to spend it on something that is not the most functional, but is definitely beautiful and definitely would be a absolutely stunning addition to a collection, right? And then we have the Prada. I don't know if I'm saying this right. I'm not a Prada girl, but Cervo Luxe Croc. Cervo Luxe Croc. I don't know, but it's $550, which is an incredible price, right? I mean, it's pretty beautiful. And then last but not least is the Louis Vuitton Python Lock Me Cabas. This one popped up. I wasn't even going to mention this because I am the Lock Me is not a very old bag, so it's really not vintage and not even close to vintage, because I want to say it's like 18 or 17. Like, it was not long ago that this one was introduced. It might even be later than that. I don't know. But it popped up while I was looking just in general for exotics, and I was being pretty specific about the time frame. You know that I love buying resale, yes, but I do love relatively older. I like things from at least 15 years ago plus. Not always. Sometimes there's newer things that catch my attention, but a lot of it is early 2000s to 2010s, right? So this one is definitely more recent, but I thought it was a great price. The fact that it's Python and that it's $1,500, at least the one that I saw, I think is pretty incredible. There's also another one that I did have and I sold because I saw it not being able to wear well. Plus I thought it was a very uncomfortable bag. But if you are an Artsy fan, They did come out with the Artsy in Python. The shoulder handle was Python, and then there was one on like a lizard. I had the Python. It was absolutely stunning. I just don't think the Artsy is a very comfortable bag, at least not for me, but an absolutely stunning bag with the snake print. Now, of course, depending on where you live, sometimes these things are not able to ship to your state or your country. So it's one of those things that you have to like check out if you're actually going to be buying something with. I don't know if it's all exotics, but I know specifically it's croc and lizard, at least in the US. But it is an absolutely stunning bag. I'll put up a price if I can find it on the secondhand market. I don't know what range it would be in because I don't know the last time that I even looked for this, but it just popped up in my head and it's a good one. It's a beautiful one if you are a fan of the Artsy. Stunning. Okay, guys, I have talked long enough. Hopefully I can get this video down to a decent time frame, which means I have to take off quite a bit because I am at almost 52 minutes right now. As we know, I can talk, especially about vintage bags. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. If you have made it this far, you're the best. I don't know what else to say to that. Like, you're incredible. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And so if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be super helpful, especially with the algorithm. And other than that, I will leave you guys. I will see you next week. I will also leave a video over here in case you haven't already seen it and you would like to. Bye, guys.